Do you like comic books, video games, movies, and television? Are you way more interested in fictional superheroes than actual human beings or real life? Do you like listening to people discuss these topics for roughly an hour or two at a time?
Well, if you liked when this asshole did it alone,
You're gonna love me. This is the intro to our podcast, ain't it? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, where we dive deep into all things nerd. My name is Lucius Fox. As always is Matt. Well, as always is Matt.
I am.
With me, as always, is Matt. Just Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to the show. I was sad to see you go, but welcome back, you know? I am fine.
That was so much fucking worse the second time.
They don't know about the first time.
I know they don't. They couldn't
Nothing
hear
to
the
compare
first thing.
to.
We cut this show because
This
of
is
that.
our 19th take.
Because of that shit. And you know what?
You love it?
It's just as bad the second time. No, it's worse the second time because you had so much enthusiasm behind it.
Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat, guys, where we dive deep into all things nerd. On today's agenda, we have various topics of discussion, starting with something about comics, followed by a review of some sort, and a closing of just bullshit. Welcome back. We missed you.
You're
with me, as always, is Lucius Fox, just Lucius.
You jest, but you're not wrong about what our show is about.
I wasn't
it's pretty
jesting.
much,
I don't jest.
It's pretty... You're the fucking worst. It is pretty much a lot of bullshit, followed by a review, followed by comic talk. So I really like that analysis of what we do. I think it's important to be self-aware, everybody. I think it's important we know our place. I think it's important you all know your place as well, and that is to worship us. So.
Oh.
No? You know what? We'll back road to that. We're so thankful for you guys.
Do we take communion and tithing?
Huh?
Nothing?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to pass around the velvet plates for people to put their tithing on?
I heard there was bread and wine. That's the only reason I'm here.
That's the only reason I'm ever here, bro.
All right.
All right. Let's jump into the news for this week.
Is that a new thing that you're going to do?
No, just
You'll never do that again?
You know, I try to bring a little pizzazz to the show, and you just shit on it. You knock it down.
I just pizzazzed the shit out of the intro.
Yeah,
and you had nothing but garbage
literally
response.
The absolute worst. There's a reason you're not allowed to make decisions.
Guys, our schedules as of late haven't been in sync, so I think we have grown to dislike each other much more than we already did. But let's jump into the news.
I didn't think it was possible, but somehow you not being here for 2 weeks has made me disdain you more.
This is the greatest show.
This is the greatest show. If you guys haven't seen The Greatest Showman, by the way,
then just unsubscribe.
Yeah, okay, please don't do that. But I highly recommend you go.
No,
watch.
Let me try again. Watch it.
That's a better one.
Okay, cool.
So jumping into the news, we got we don't have a whole lot because it hasn't really been super eventful, but some stuff I did want to talk about. Stargirl. So you guys are familiar with Stargirl. I'm not. I don't know anything about her. I know that she's related to Starman in some way because she has the cosmic staff or the staff of whatever it is. And
she's unrelated to the girl on The Boys, correct? Starfire? No, Starfire is
I was about to say, Starfire is a Teen Titan.
What is on The Boys? What was her name?
Something.
Starshine?
Yeah, it's something in that.
Starlight?
Ooh, I think it's Starlight.
Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, she is. So that show, the Stargirl show, was originally slated for the DC Universe, and it was going to be on the DC Universe app. Now it is going to be on the CW. I think it bounced twice. So it was the CW, or I'm sorry, it was the DC Universe app, and then it was going to be on the HBO app, and now it's in the CW Arrowverse.
Still not as bad as New Mutants. Like, in regards to will it or won't it?
Oh, I was about to say, we haven't seen New Mutants
No, I just
yet.
meant, like, with the...
Yeah, all the back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, so we got a small glimpse of... We got a trailer, first of all, of Stargirl a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a small glimpse of them all lined up in their superhero stances on the Arrowverse, the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff. So we saw, like, when they were going through the Earths that remained, or the multiverse worlds that remained, theirs was one of them. So... They were talking about how Stargirl, and it was kind of the dumbest thing in the world, because we saw the trailer. We know that this is going to be based around the JSA, right? Matt, when was the JSA, roughly?
The 50s?
well, 40s, right?
Yeah.
They dealt a lot with like World War II and stuff, but
Yeah.
it was the golden age of comics, right?
Right.
So we know that that's heavily what Stargirl is kind of like revolving around. And some they wrote an article. It was on the comicbooknews.com, and they were like, why isn't Stargirl going to be on the same Earth as the rest of the Arrowverse? And I'm like, because their Earth is based in the fucking 40s, and not now. You know, I don't know. It just seemed kind of stupid to ask a question that didn't need answering, but we're going to answer it anyways. Stargirl is going to be based in the past. I don't know if it's going to be based in the 40s, though. That's an interesting question. However, it'd be pretty cool. And we know that Joel McHale is playing Starman, which is like, what? But okay.
Who?
Not only is Joel McHale ripped in playing Starman, guess what else Joel McHale got ripped? I'm skipping a bunch of news just so we can talk about this.
What else?
Joel McHale was cast as Johnny Cage for the new Mortal Kombat movie.
That's who Joel McHale is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was like a what? But at the same time, he's perfect.
The guy from The Soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that weird, though?
Yeah. But he's kind of a perfect Johnny Cage in the sense that, like...
Sure, yes. But
yeah,
here's the thing. It's still a movie he's going to have to take seriously. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen him in a role that isn't 100% satire. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like on The Soup or Community or some of the other things. He's never done a thing that wasn't 100% satire. So I'm kind of interested to see, I guess, what he does in the new Mortal Kombat. Let's also talk about Mortal Kombat. It's called, which I just found this out because I haven't been keeping up. It's called Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. That's the full title.
Is that confirmed?
I guess that's what it was talking about in this article I was reading.
Oh, I guess it'll be about the Lin Kuei then.
And I think it's technically continuing off of those two movies.
Legacy?
Yeah, from like back in the day.
I didn't know that, but that would be cool. I don't know if you saw the Legacy films. They're actually, well, I can't really call them films. They're more like series, but they were fantastic. So, Scorpion's Revenge, I mean, his whole existence is based around revenge. So, if I were to guess, it's going to be the typical story is he's under the impression that Sub-Zero and his clan annihilated his family, and he comes back as a wraith from hell, and here I am.
I don't know, but we do know that it did confirm get a hard R rating.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
Which is going to be pretty cool.
I have very high hopes for this movie, and
I'm sorry, by the way, if I'm all sniffly through this podcast.
He's done a lot of cocaine.
A lot of cocaine, but it's also, I walked outside and my car was blanketed in pollen, so it's that.
And then he laid in it. Pollen angels.
It's that, well, no, what I did is I scraped it into a line, and I did it just like
that's
Coke.
That's descriptive. But no, I really hope this movie is good. I know Mortal Kombat is an easy one to be like, you know, whatever. But
sure.
I hope they take it seriously and do it really well.
Well, and
there's a lot of great lore in the Mortal Kombat.
And that's what I was going to say. I have friends who are really deep into it. My buddy Tim
I love Mortal
knows
Kombat.
Everything about the Mortal Kombat lore.
Yeah.
Like him and my other friend Richard, they last time we were all together, they were talking about that, and I was learning so much. Like you ever have nerds talk about stuff that you don't know, and you're just like,
no,
you're just like fascinated because you're like, ooh, I'm learning something, and it's still interesting because it's relevant to your like area. Well, they were talking about that, and they were talking about X-Men. I know nothing about X-Men
other than the films.
No, I hate those movies, but other than the.
Just saying, but your exposure to the films probably has you.
Well, right, sure, stuff. But right, the books that are out now that are the Dawn of X stuff. That's what I'm getting into. But they were telling me all about the lore and all about the stuff about Mortal Kombat, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize there was like serious story arc to this stuff. Well, I think it's interesting because I don't care about Mortal Kombat. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just mean that as of right now, I don't care about this movie. I'm going to see it because I want to know. I want to know what a modern version of those movies we got in the... When did the first one come out? The 80s?
94, I think.
That was the first one?
Mm-hmm.
And then Annihilation came out...
Probably like 99.
Okay, so...
98.
Those
maybe.
were bad.
Yeah, but they're like... As a 31-year-old guy who saw them when they came out and was like, back in the day, just seeing the characters. Yeah. And when I watch them now, yes, they are bad. You're right. But will I watch them every time I can?
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Like, I've seen them several times.
It's a good bad.
It's a good bad. But when you watch them, you can acknowledge... When I was a kid, those movies were the shit. They were awesome.
First one, honestly, I'd say valiant try, because this was prior to the whole superhero movie craze and all that. And, I mean, they were taking a stab at the dark with a property that.
Well, I think that's what I mean. Is I'm very interested to see what it looks like when they take this property seriously, and they not only have a big budget but a big director.
Well, before Legacy came out, the 2 short films series, whatever, they did a. Well, I guess let's call it a short film. They did one that wasn't in Legacy, right? But it's what led to Legacy, and that was they were saying was the tone for this movie.
I don't know what you mean when you say Legacy.
The 2 series that were released, Mortal Kombat Legacy 1 and 2.
I didn't know there were series.
Yeah, they're episodic.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyways, prior to them coming out, there was like a little short film. It was like 15 minutes, something like that.
Talking about the one on the internet that had Michael J. White.
Yes. Yeah. This is what, and he ended up being in both of the series as Jax. But anyways, they were like, this is going to lead to a new movie. This is the tone we're going for. And let me tell you, that little short film was dark as hell.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know who Baraka is, the character. I mean, he was basically a surgeon that inserted blades in his arms and changed his teeth. And they were like, yeah, we're going for like nasty.
Oh, so that's not Mr. T's character, B.A. Baraka from the
Baracus?
From the A-Team, B.A. Baracus.
Well, I pity the fool, but no.
I pity the fool who mistakes
And then, of
those
course,
two
the end of
characters.
that short film, you found out one of the guys was Scorpion the whole time, and then it.
What?
Yeah, and they were like, "What?"
That's crazy.
So, anywho, I'm really excited for Mortal Kombat. I love.
I'm
Mortal
interested
Kombat.
to see
Always
it for
have.
sure. In the petty side of nerd news, there's a petition that has been going strong. I'm sure you guys have seen it to replace Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
I've never heard of that.
You haven't heard of it? Yeah, it's almost at 30,000 signatures because fans are just petty assholes. And I was reading
been in 1 1/3 movies.
well, I was watching, and again, I just watched Captain Marvel again, like the solo movie. Very much enjoyed it, just like I did in the theater. It's not a bad movie. I don't think she's that bad. I think she's a great actress. First of all, if you've ever seen Room or if you've seen some of her other stuff, she's phenomenal. I don't know what 21 Jump Street. Yeah, I don't know what people are not seeing in her, but
they're getting caught up in her personal.
I was gonna say, I think it has to do with getting caught up in the politics.
Yeah.
And caught up in her stupid statements. Just leave it out of it.
I'll 100% be honest. Like, as a person, do I think I would hang out with her on the weekends? I doubt it. Do I have a problem with her as Captain Marvel? Not at all.
No.
I thought the movie was fine.
Yeah,
I think she's beautiful.
We probably wouldn't have great conversation hanging out, but
yeah, I'm just saying, like, but I always made the joke in regards to Tom Cruise years ago. I'm like, would I hang out with the guy on the weekends? Probably not. Do I love his movies? Yeah.
See, I kind of disagree because when it comes to crazy, it's like Gary Busey. That dude is a nutbag. Yeah. I would absolutely party with him.
I'd be like, you want to go to Reno?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I do.
Like Tom Cruise, he scares me because like I genuinely have this weird fear of Scientology, like legitimately. Yeah. Like they're gonna kidnap
the aliens will suck you up in a vacuum.
They're gonna kidnap me and just force me to be a Scientologist or something.
Katie Holmes got out. You can too.
Yeah. Well, so did what was her name? Leah whatever from the King of Queens.
Oh, Rimini.
Oh yeah, Leah Remini.
I thought they were gonna put a hit out on her. To be honest,
I was waiting for it. I was like, man, I hope she doesn't turn up like dead or something. That'd be so sad.
Anyways,
well, that got off topic. Brie Larson, I think she's a fantastic Cap Marvel, and some people were talking about that she had like she had a stiff performance. Give her does that mean that you need to sign a petition?
You want to hear a funny counter to that? Go back to all of the stars of the MCU. Go back to their first.
I was 100% about to say go watch Thor.
Chris Evans was not great.
Go watch Thor.
Hemsworth sucked.
Disagree because I just watched First Avenger again, and I still love that movie.
I still don't think that's a great movie.
I think Hemsworth is a great example because Thor 1 is a fun movie, but it's so stiff.
Yeah, but if you go back, this was super interesting. He said Ragnarok was the first time he got to let loose. He was like, the first two was hey, you have to. So I get it. Like,
sure. Well, but again, Taika Waititi put a lot of funny into Ragnarok.
And then you and I have talked about Black Panther. I thought he was amazing in Civil War. And then when I saw Black Panther, I was like, what the hell happened?
His performance in Civil War was crazy good.
Yeah.
And then I thought that... and
he was so...
I don't know if that has to do with Ryan Coogler or the writing or what it was, but they made him very beta. They didn't make him alpha at all.
I don't want to say stereotypical because that'll easily go down the whole, like, I'm trying to say something here, but it's just in Civil War, he was such a, like, presence.
That's
like
what I'm
Black
saying.
Panther
he was
showed
alpha
up,
as
like,
fuck.
whoa. And then in
Civil
the movie,
War.
you're just like, not really digging it. The movie was fine. Like, I thought Black Panther was okay.
Right.
The third act sucked, but the rest of the movie was fine. Anyways, moving on. Sorry.
Robert Pattinson, they just started talking about the director, Matt Reeves. He made some
Planet of the Apes movies.
Sure, that's where I was going. He made
Sure.
he made some comments about the bat suit, and he said a very conflicting statement. He said,
I read it.
It's going to be nothing like you're used to, but it's everything fans would expect. And I don't know what the fuck that means.
Did you read the rest?
Yes.
Okay.
He said that it is not going to be, first of all, this bat suit is going to be Bruce Wayne has put it together, not Wayne Tech.
Yep.
So there is no, I named myself Lucius Fox, and I mean, my name is Lucius. Yeah, we get the joke. It's funny.
Yeah,
I named myself Lucius Fox in this episode, but it's kind of an oxymoron because he's not, I guess, going to be a part of the Batman. This is going to be a very cobbled together year one, which I'm stoked for.
I was hoping you were going to say cobbled.
Yeah, cobbled.
I love when I read that.
How much have I been talking about how much I want a year one Batman? I've been dying for that. And I think it's very cool because Batman Year One by Frank Miller is one of my favorite stories of all time.
And I want to know why I love doing a show with you? Because I don't like Year One at all.
Really? Mm-hmm. How can you not like Year One?
I just don't dig it. But let me counter.
Go watch
I feel
a
like
Michael
in
Bay
this
film.
movie, that needs to happen. Pattinson is obviously the youngest person to ever play Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And we don't need a guy that's like, hey, I'm 32 and I'm already a vet. Like, I respect Year One because, in my opinion, when Batman starts, he should be getting his ass kicked. He should be making mistakes.
Right.
And not top of the line gear.
Well,
and I'm sorry to interrupt again.
We want to see both sides, right? So we want to see the Batman we want to see the Arkham Batman.
Yeah.
That Batman he's on top of fucking everything.
But that's like primo.
But
top
that
of
is
game.
the prime That is, and it's not only prime, it's kind of past his prime Batman. His body is past his prime.
It's almost like he's so good that it's just like, there's no doubt. Like, it's like, all right.
But his body is beat to shit, and he can't do this forever. But his mind is finally, like, his mind and his skill level is at its peak.
Which is what we came to realize. That's what Ben Affleck was, because
Yes.
I always think about that line in Justice League where he's talking to Diana, and he's like, she what did she say to him? Like, soon we won't be able to do this forever.
And he was like, chugging that water didn't sound gross on the recording.
Well, she's talking to him, and she's like, we can't do this forever, and he's like, I can barely do it now.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, 100%. So we're gonna get a year one Batman. We're gonna get somebody who is inexperienced and is just figuring it out. Again, one of the coolest parts of Year One, one of my favorite parts of that story, is he tests the waters, right? He puts on some face makeup, he sculpts himself a fake nose and gives himself a fake scar across his cheek. He puts on a beanie and some winter clothes, and he goes walking down Crime Alley. He goes walking down one of the nastiest streets in Gotham. And
see that scene?
Huh?
Think we'll see that scene in the movie?
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe. That's what I would love.
I wonder if in this movie he's going to find his way to becoming Batman, or if he's already Batman. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
I think it's going to be a bit of both. I bet you it starts and he's already Batman.
Yeah,
and they go
I
back.
think it's going to be very much like Christian Bale in Batman Begins, where he's gonna be coming back, and which made me think. I don't think we're going to get a Batmobile.
No, it's probably going to be
gonna
like
be
a
a car.
Chrysler 300.
A Chrysler 300,
Yeah.
maybe a Lincoln or something. But the
Same thing.
yeah, sure.
Can I say one thing? Is in regards to this movie, Batman is the thing I'm least excited about. And let me clarify. When I saw that they had the Zeppelins,
right,
and the setting for Gotham,
right.
Okay, so first of all, and you'll know what I mean here, and pretty much everybody listening will too if you're a fan, Gotham has always been a character itself. And I'm sorry,
alive. It's a presence.
but in the Nolan trilogy, Gotham was just Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it was. To their credit, the Schumacher films, he made Gotham a character.
Yep.
That junk was so just abstract and out there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Tim Burton obviously did too, because he's Tim Burton. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping like Matt Reeves' version is like.
I don't want to give Schumacher any more credit than he deserves, but he almost did a better job with Gotham than Burton did, because when you had
He just went nuts.
yeah,
with
he
Gotham.
went so bizarre and so nuts that it did feel
worked.
it felt like a character.
It really did. It worked.
That scene where Two-Face was robbing the bank and the vault was hanging and oh my gosh.
That's why I said, like, as bad as they are,
they're
if
great.
you actually break it down, there are shining qualities of those movies.
I have never, and I'll never change this stance. I've never wavered. I've never flip-flopped. You can quote me on this. Not that anyone gives a shit. I love the Schumacher movies. I know it's one of those things where I know how bad they are.
Well,
I'm aware. But they are a great they are a great kind of bad that I just enjoy watching over and over again.
One of my favorite scenes from any Batman movie ever is when it's in Batman and Robin, and when Batman and Robin, go figure, are chasing Mr. Freeze. And you remember they're going over the statues, the giant Titan-sized statues in Gotham City?
Yeah.
And he deactivates his motorcycle. So Batman makes the jump, and then he stops and he does that, rah, like that epic scream at him. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Schumacher stumbled across like cinematography gold with that scene.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. And it had no business being in that movie.
And it's funny you bring up that scene. I know we're super off topic, but it's funny you bring up that scene.
This is our own show. We can do what we want.
I was about to say, who cares? That scene, it was a really excellent display of Batman and Robin's relationship.
They're split. Yep.
It was such a good Batman's overprotectiveness and his need to be in charge, and Nightwing's, I'm going to call him Nightwing.
Well, yeah, he was, if they would have done one more film, he would have made
Nightwing's eagerness to be out there and be ready. I mean, and that's why he left, right? That's why, because he couldn't stand being second seat when he was ready to be a hero.
And that was a good representation of he misunderstood. Well, I think they misunderstood each other.
Right.
Because Robin misunderstood it as he doesn't trust me, when in reality, like you said, he's just being overprotective.
Right.
It's not that he doesn't trust him. He knows that his skill level's there, but we could go off on this for hours, so let's go ahead and move on.
Last bit of Matt Reeves Batman news. Colin Farrell talked about the Penguin's look, and they interviewed, somebody was asking, I think it was like TMZ or somebody was asking him questions like, "Hey, you're not fat. What's going on with the Penguin?" And he was like, "Nothing, mate," or whatever the fuck he sounds like. And they were like,
he's Irish.
Yeah, he was like,
that's Australian.
Yeah, he was like, I film in like 2 weeks. So he starts filming in like 2 weeks. Hasn't gained any weight for the role. So we are now assuming that they are going with a more debonair, maybe a beat up. You know, they can give him. He was
already seen on set, so.
Well, they can make him look rough and gruff and whatnot, but he's not going to be. I don't think they're going to go fat suit or anything.
No, I think they're going with
Gotham.
Robin Taylor Lloyd. What's his name? Lord.
Robin Lord Taylor?
Yeah. I think they're going that direction. And he's got blonde hair. I know that because they have snap photos of him on set. And he was in like a 3-piece suit, blonde hair, kind of like you said, just normal.
Right.
So I think in Gotham, they set a new, I don't want to say standard, but they set a new interpretation. Like,
yeah.
So. Should be cool. Colin Farrell's a good actor if you give him the right material.
And then the last thing I kind of want to talk about, this isn't news, but the last thing I want to talk about before we get into your review segment is MegaCon. Big deal right now. At least for me, I'm excited. I bought my ticket yesterday, and I can't wait. MegaCon Orlando is one of the bigger cons down here in the Southeast. So in Florida, it's probably the biggest con in Florida. Matt, would you say?
Well, in Florida, yes. I'd say in the Southeast,
Dragon
Con
in Georgia is way.
Atlanta.
I wouldn't say way bigger, but it's definitely bigger.
It's bigger. You're right. I wouldn't say it's like.
It's not like oh my god, but it is bigger.
Yeah, way bigger.
So and Dragon Con might be the biggest in the Southeast, but
but MegaCon's up there.
Yeah, MegaCon's cool. They do MegaCon Orlando and MegaCon Tampa, but MegaCon Orlando is definitely the big one. And I am going this year. Matt, are you going to MegaCon?
Depends on my schedule. What are the dates?
April 16th to April 19th, Thursday through Sunday.
You know what? If you can stall long enough that I can pull my calendar up, I can tell you right
Sure,
now.
because I have plenty to talk about real quick. So I got my tickets because there were 2 announcements. Now, they have only announced a few of the guest stars, and anybody who knows me knows that I do not go to cons for the celebrities. I don't give a shit about meeting. Like last year we went and it was a lot of fun. But last year they had what's the homeboy from Shazam? What's his name?
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi. He was like the big draw. They had all the Boy Meets World cast. They had Stephen Amell. They had, they get big names. They get like people. This year they have LeVar Burton. They have all the Hobbits, including Frodo.
Wow. Elijah
Wood. They have all the Hobbits. They have LeVar Burton. I honestly can't remember. They named some big names, but they just started cracking the surface, because usually once you get closer to MegaCon and the list like fleshes out, you see some big names come out.
See, but they've taught me, like, every time I got super excited about somebody, they cancel.
I think
so. You always kind of have to like.
Last year was a bad example, though. It's not like that every year. Last year, Jason Momoa canceled, and one other big name canceled, and people were pretty bummed. But Zachary Levi came in pretty last moment. Mm-hmm. They got him kind of on the tail end of that, and he looked big in person. Yeah. Like, I didn't go stand in line to meet him, but when I was walking by, you could see him, and he was like standing there. Dude is tall and was beefy.
Well, I was gonna say he was always tall, even when he was Chuck, but. Yeah,
well, he didn't grow for Shazam.
No, I'm just saying, but like, yes, he got massive. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a muscle suit," and it's like, no, it helps add definition to a brick shit house that's underneath that muscle suit.
I will tell you that the Shazam costume is the most that looks like a muscle suit.
Oh yeah, big time.
It very much.
It's in his arms. It's a little too exaggerated.
It looks foamy.
But I didn't have a problem with it. Like, I was like, Shazam's a little silly.
I don't know. They made Superman look really good, and then they made Shazam look really good.
That's because I think Cavill was busting at the seams out of that suit.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's huge.
But anyways, I don't go to MegaCon for celebrities. I go for comic creators, and they named two big names that I am so excited for. One is Jim Lee, who's only going to be there on Saturday. Jim Lee, as you guys know, is one of the greatest DC artists of all time. And I say DC, and a bunch of you guys are like, but he started at Marvel, and fuck Marvel. Here's the thing. He worked at Marvel. Wow. Yes, he worked at Marvel for a long time. He had a really good run on X-Men. He was doing a lot of X-Men art towards the tail end, I think, of Chris Claremont's stuff. And then he left Marvel with a bunch of big names, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and some other people, and they went and started Image Comics. Everybody knows Image Comics. From there, he made his own series called Savage Dragon. No, he wasn't Savage Dragon. He was Wildcats. Was that what it was called? Was it Wildcats?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Fair enough.
Thundercats?
Yeah, Thundercats. Ho! But he went and did his own book for
Speaking of hoes,
Image for a long time. And then he went over to DC, and he worked for DC. He penciled one of my favorite stories of all time, one that we did an actual... Bless you.
Thank you.
One book that we did a comic book reading club right here on this show for. It was called Batman Hush with Jeff Loeb. He did all the pencils and stuff for that. And he's just a really phenomenal artist who I'm talking about him, but most of you guys probably know exactly who Jim Lee is. He is now the chief executive editor for DC, I think.
CEE.
And he is anyways, he's going to be there on the Saturday, and that's going to be an impossible line. I mean, that is a line that no matter what, you're standing for
your whole day.
Hours. Yeah, you're going to be there the whole day trying to get an autograph. So I may try to take my Hush paperback, because I don't have anything else I really want him to sign, but I may try to have that signed on Saturday. But the big one, who I'm hoping is there for multiple days, because he normally goes for multiple days, is somebody who hasn't come to Florida in years, because he said he would never come back due to political reasons. Mr. George Perez, who is my fucking idol.
He said he wouldn't come back to a state because of political reasons?
Yes, he was very
liberal.
Political about... Yeah, he is very liberal, but he was very...
I wouldn't go to California. So.
Right, so he... He was very adamant about Florida's engagement with their support of deportation and immortation laws and stuff.
But now he needs money.
Well, people make that joke. He'll never have to work a day in his life. George Perez doesn't need money, but there is something did. I mean, I'd like to think it was his wife. His wife has always been a very level-headed person, and who's probably the thing is that you're letting the fans down. Like, I get, stick to your beliefs. I'm not going to ever shit on somebody for for being like, this is what I believe and I'm sticking to it.
You don't have to be a dick about it, though.
Well, but it's really not.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying in general. Like,
right,
you can have your beliefs.
I get
but
what
you don't have to be.
I get what you're saying, but I think he realized that at the end of the day, he was only hurting fans who can't travel to other states just to get go see him at a con.
Like,
so,
if we ever had like 2 or 3 fans in California and they wanted to see us on a panel, like, I wouldn't go, but maybe years later I might.
Okay, yeah,
that
sure.
joke didn't land. I'm sorry. I'm
that,
kidding.
I don't know what to do with you. The point is, I'm very excited. So George Perez obviously created Deathstroke, created Nightwing, created him.
No. I give it credit to Marv.
Well, him and Marv Wolfman. They were a creative team together, and back then, George Perez wrote half of all that stuff because the artists were not just artists back then. Him and Marv Wolfman were a creative team. They were one of those first teams where a writer and artist did everything together,
And shit was just better, it seemed like.
Right. Well, it definitely paved, pathways. Yeah. And it's kind of like you see now with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Tom King and Mitch Gerrits. Like, you see those kind of team-ups because collaboratively, they just work so well together. They both wrote and penciled Crisis on Infinite Earths together, which... If you guys follow the Facebook page, I just got my 12-issue set of Crisis on Infinite Earths that I can't stop gushing over, and it felt like kismet because I said, look, I just found this set of Crisis. It's all first prints. They all look amazing. They're in really good condition, and I just got this set. And then right after I got this set, which has been a dream of mine, George Perez announces he's coming to MegaCon. I said, that is kismet. I was meant to have these signed. I may take my Nightwing down there too. The problem is, here's the thing, and I want you guys to let us know if this is acceptable or not, because I actually don't know. My first appearance in Nightwing is graded, it's slabbed, and is it weird to try to have him sign the slab, or should I break it open?
Honestly, if you're gonna get him to sign it, you need to.
Right, he needs to sign the book, right? Well, I don't want to break it open. I'm never gonna sell it. That's mine forever.
I know. So you should break it, have him sign it, and then re-slab it.
I don't know.
It's gonna be dumb because what if one day the case breaks?
Well, I know, but do you think that they don't? Do you think they just wouldn't sign an already slab book?
I highly doubt it. You just walk up and say, "Hey, can you sign this, sir?" And he'll go, "Yep." Blah, 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 blah.
Interesting.
I don't think they're that bad where you're going to go all that way just to get their signature and they say, "You know what?"
Well, I know, but is it just like it's just for me? And I don't know.
Follow your heart, man.
Yeah, the point is, I might take it down anyways.
I get it though. Like, it's already slabbed. Like,
yeah, I don't want. Well, and so anytime you break open a slab book, you run the risk of getting it reslabbed and it coming back a lower grade.
Right.
And mine's at a 9.4.
I'm sure it won't be the first time that they've done it.
Yeah.
If you just get it, but I mean, it just sucks because you want it on the book. Like, you. I
don't care. I just want his signature.
Well, then have him sign that case.
But what was I saying? Yeah. So George Perez is going to be there. I'm very excited. Guys, go to MegaCon Orlando if you're in the area, if you're planning on going to the con. We're going to be there. Hopefully Matt will be there.
Well, my biggest one, I'm thinking about you with your Jim Lee Saturday. When I went to meet Nolan North, probably the most famous video game voice actors around, it took me all day. My whole day.
What day did you go, though?
Saturday.
That was a Saturday?
Yes. But I got lucky, and Troy Baker was right next to him.
Right.
And I was able to literally leave the line that I was in for like 5 hours to meet Nolan North. And Troy Baker was like, he legit was like, just come on over. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Really?
Yeah, he was really cool about it. The reason it took so long, and this was amazing, Nolan North is probably one of the coolest people I've ever seen interact with his fans. Like,
oh, yeah. He seems like a sweetheart.
The people right in front of me, it was crazy. And this is just real quick, short story. And if you guys don't know, Nolan North, he's super famous for various reasons. Probably Uncharted is one of the big ones.
Right.
He played thousands of voices in Arkham City.
Right. He did one of my favorite things, which was the last of. He was.
That's Troy Baker.
Oh, that is Troy Baker.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to meet him.
But
both.
the voice looks like it fits Nolan North so much more than Troy Baker. If you've
played any game in the current gen, you've heard both of these guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, so right in front of me, there was this dude. He was going up. He brought like his Uncharted statue and limited edition game, and I'm digging it because I love Uncharted. I'm like, this is awesome.
Can you imagine toting that kind of stuff to a con, though? That's got to be scary, right?
Yeah, well, he's just, that's what he came there for. So he got him to sign it, and he was like, yeah, man, me and my brother are such huge fans of yours, and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, where's your brother? He's like, oh, he wasn't here when I got in line. He's back there. And he said, call him up. And he waited. And he called him, and he was like, he told the line, he's like, don't worry, I'll get everybody. He's like, just chill out.
Right.
And he literally waited
to the people who are also standing and just.
Well, yeah, and then he waited till this dude's brother got there, and he was like, come on, we'll all take pictures together, blah, blah, blah. He came all this way, and I was right behind these guys, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, he was just super cool about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of those guys who seem like they're just genuinely nice, and they're a lot of the voice acting community, like people that I've gotten to meet at cons and stuff, they're just nice. Phil Lamar is one of the nicest guys I ever met, and he's been in everything.
To me, when you like know a lot of their backlog and like little things about them, they're almost like taken back. Like they're like, huh? Because when I met Nolan North, I said, hey, one last thing. Like, we took our photos, he signed stuff for me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, man, I got to know, how many voices did you really do in Arkham City? Because if you play Arkham City, he is like every miscellaneous thug.
Right.
He's the Penguin. He's Deadshot. And I said, how many did you do? And he goes, well, I honestly don't remember. He's like, it's easily in the hundreds. And he goes, but I'll tell you my favorite one. And then he did the Penguin voice.
Really?
Yeah, and it was awesome.
I love his Penguin. Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
And then, of course, my photo with Troy Baker got a lot of likes because every chick I know wanted to know who that was. Because Troy Baker's a very good-looking man.
Good-looking dude, man. Yeah. Both of them are.
Very cool.
Nolan North is very
Troy Baker was very nice, too. He was a very cool guy. Yeah. But I love MegaCon. I'm sure I'll go.
Did you check your schedule? Do you know if you're going to be
off? If I keep my current work schedule, I have that entire weekend off, so I will definitely be there.
Yeah. And we have housing and stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. We have a place to stay down there. I'm
only
going
to meet Charlie Cox 2 years ago.
I got my my 4-day pass, but I'm not going to go Sunday. I'm going to come back Saturday. But I will go for 3 days.
I'm a 1-day guy.
Thursday's the day that you get book signed. Like, Thursday's my book signing day because that's the slowest day. It's where if you really want certain things signed, if like George Perez is there on Thursday, that'll be the best day of my life because
it's still the work week.
It won't be the hardest day to, like, you'll still probably wait in line for him. But there were guys who went through like the big, like Tom King and Donnie Cates and them. They were going through their lines like quick.
Saturdays
5
that
minutes.
Like I told you is the pick one thing. It's like you're going to Magic Kingdom. Pick one ride, and that's your day. Yeah, on Saturday.
That's why I really like Friday for me is when I go to a con like that. Is I'm gonna walk around and see everything. I'm gonna go touch every table and just see what people. If I'm spending money, that's probably the day I'm gonna spend money. It's gonna be really cool. But yeah, hopefully we're gonna make sure we're posting events and stuff on the Facebook page. Hey Matt, do you think that? Can you guys guess what energy drink I'm opening? Oh man, that was so crisp.
What's
and
the one
good.
From The Office where it was a homosexual energy drink for?
Oh, the coconut penis flavored, and Robert California drank it. And he goes, "I miss original. Why they add coconut?"
where the warehouse crew won the lottery.
Yeah,
he invested all of his money in a homosexual
penis flavored energy drink for homosexuals. That was.
I miss original.
The Office didn't age phenomenally, but it is still the best show ever on television. Speaking of television shows, Matt, you've got a nifty gifty of a review. Nifty gifties. These are nifty. They're nifty gifties.
Office references. Love it.
Anyways, you got a review for us, don't you?
Nah.
No.
Nope.
Fuck. Never mind. Next segment.
Moving on to comics or something. I don't know. Yeah, I do, about a character that I don't really care much about. Deathstroke.
Ugh. Who the fuck likes Deathstroke?
I don't know how many times I have to say it. Least liked character.
Least likable, you know?
Ugh, just pure garbage.
Definitely not my favorite.
So, real talk, my favorite character probably of all time, if I'm not, because I never include Batman. Like, Batman's always on his own.
Yeah, but I guess I feel the same way, because when I think of my favorite characters,
I never go to Batman.
I can't think of Batman because he's always up. He's like the god level.
Yeah, so Batman's usually like
Deathstroke and Red Hood are my two favorites.
Hey, me too.
Samesies.
Yeah. So Batman's always the heading to my paper.
Yeah.
And paragraph 1 is Deathstroke.
Sure.
Paragraph 2 is Red Hood.
Okay.
But paragraph 2 is completely composed of reasons why Red Hood should be number 1. So
Weird fun fact before you get into your review.
we got time. Go for it.
They just released, and I know this because I work for a comic book shop.
What?
They just released Mythical Mountain in Jacksonville,
I
Florida.
thought you worked for Wayne Enterprises.
They just released. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not released yet. It comes out in what's before August? July?
Like at least 7 months.
Sure. It comes out in.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're not. It comes out in July, and it's called The Adventure Continues, and it's a toy line of characters that were not in Batman the Animated Series, but these toys are as if they were. So it has some of the coolest. It has Deathstroke, and he's in the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm style. It has Jason Todd, and it has a switchable head because you can have Jason Todd head or Red Hood head.
Like with the domino mask, Jason Todd, or just like
so he doesn't have domino mask, but they gave him those dark circles under the eyes.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah, and
That's cool.
he has the white wisp in his hair, like from Hush.
From Hush. Awesome.
So they have that. They have Batman's mech suit from The Dark Knight Returns, and it's huge and bulbous, and it looks really cool. I'll show you a picture on the distributor site.
This isn't the thing I sent you, right? No.
No. This is real. This is.
Was that not real? The one I sent you?
I don't remember the one you sent me.
With like all the classic villains, but they were all in the animated series style. So it
No.
had like Joker from Batman '89.
No.
Okay.
That wasn't real. That
was awesome though.
It was awesome,
Really
but
cool.
it's not like they're not making those into toys. These are
They
actual
should.
toys that are being made.
They should.
And then right after that comes out in August, they're releasing. We've talked about Deceased, which is like they're releasing a line of the heroes and villains, like, and they're really fucked up. And Green Lantern has these 3 big slashes across. It looks so brutal.
Well, just to let you know, my birthday falls on the equator of the year. It is July 15th. Just in case.
I vaguely remember not getting a Christmas present from you, so I don't think I give a fuck about your birthday.
It's not attractive to be frugal. But, that's just you, I guess.
So anyways, you're going to give us a review of...
Yeah.
We're talking about Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons.
Yeah, man. This isn't going to be overly involved because I've come to realize when I say review, it literally ends up me being reciting whatever it is, almost scene for scene.
Scene by scene, line by line.
So I pledged to myself and to our viewers and listeners that I won't do that anymore.
Well, that's funny because I pledge I already forgot how to pledge to America.
Never be a caricature.
Never be a caricature,
Never
Kevin.
be a caricature.
A caricature?
So anyways, I'm going to quickly review Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons.
Knights and Dragons.
So, all BS aside, Deathstroke is my favorite character by far. Apparently, he's yours too. That's news to me. Sounds like you're just cramping my style.
No, I think Red Hood's actually in my number 1 spot, but they're pretty interchangeable.
Yep, my 1 and 2 have always been Slade and Jason. So
Yeah.
for me, when they said, hey, we're doing an animated series of strictly Deathstroke, what more could I want,
Actually,
right?
Nightwing might be my favorite character now that I think about it.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry,
Well,
go ahead.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
I can't choose. They're like my children.
So, a couple things to touch on with this. CW Seed. It's on the free CW app.
Oh, CW Seed, right. The app.
CW Seed.
Right,
Yes.
the app, which is
So-
pretty cool, guys, because you can watch all the Arrowverse stuff for free.
Yeah, it's completely free.
I didn't realize
catch.
that, so you can stay up to date on all the Arrowverse stuff on the CW app.
Yep, and I remember a couple years ago when they announced this, they said it was on CW Seed. I was like, I'm thinking, it's off on some off app I don't even use. It's a free app. It won't even be good. Blah blah blah. I was wrong.
Let me go ahead real quick and just say the difference between the CW app or the website and the CW Seed app or website. The only difference is, for whatever reason, they put this on CW Seed, but as it stands, the CW app is all the current stuff. And then if you want old CW shows that aren't played anymore, that's on CW Seed. So if you want to watch Birds of Prey or the OC,
Which is weird because this is brand new.
This is brand new, but they put it on the one that has all the old shows.
Which, and they've, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but they've kind of left us in the dark. So they've only released what they call part 1.
Right.
And is there going to be a part 2? Like, they don't
Yeah,
have any release
I don't
date.
know.
It's obviously not weekly because
I've only seen the first few minutes of it too, so tell me what I'm missing, man.
I'm trying to do it without being super biased, but man, it was so good. Like, from the first couple minutes that you saw,
Right.
what did you think about? Let me just hit you with a couple of quick questions. What did you think about the animation style?
So here's my thing about what I saw. It wasn't negative, but it wasn't overly positive, and the only reason for that is the animation style to me was very similar to Harley Quinn, and so I couldn't get out of that mood of this is going to be goofy, and then he started doing really badass things, and I was so conflicted. So I think I would have to watch through it the whole way to get rid of that feeling, but to me, I was expecting it to be funny. You know what I mean?
I respect that.
Just
I was
because
gonna
that
ask
animation style was very similar to Harley Quinn.
I was going to ask you if you got to the uber violence, like any of that.
I got to the first uber violence where he, like right at the beginning, where he killed and he's like, "You're in charge now." Like, you know,
where he decapitated the guy? Okay.
So he throws his head on the ground. I was like, "Oh, this is like real."
Yeah.
But that being said, Harley Quinn is a pretty graphic and
but
fucked up show.
And I get that. I respect what you're saying. Like, by default, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is gonna be like funny,"
right?
And it's not.
Right. No.
Like, this one is not at all.
So it was a little hard for me to take it seriously right out the gate.
So go back and watch it when you get a chance. I'll go over some high level points. I'll go over some thoughts. First of all, Michael Chiklis being Slade Wilson. Just a little background. I don't know how old our listeners are, all 4 of you. But Michael Chiklis really got his big boom that I can recall from being on The Shield on FX, where he played like a hardened detective, and he was fantastic. He obviously went on to be the Thing in Fantastic Four.
The Commish.
Yeah, the Commish.
Not Chiklis Commish. Yeah. Chiklis Shield.
Yeah. Anyways,
so he when was they the said Thing Michael in Fantastic Four, holy shit, you're right.
Yeah. So when they said he was going to be Slade Wilson, like, I've learned that when I go, "Oh, that wouldn't have been my first choice," that means that their choice was better. So I've come to realize that. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. Let me watch it. He grew on me. At first, I was like, I don't know if I really like Chiklis as Slade, but it grew on me a little bit. The animation, you had a good point. I didn't even think about it. It is very similar to Harley Quinn on the DC Universe app. I dig it, though. Like, especially the way his armor looks. Like, he looks great. Like, the way that Slade looks in full armor looks awesome.
Sure. I like the armor choices they went with, too.
Yeah, because it was like a mix of New 52 and Rebirth, in my opinion, because he's kind of bulky in the shoulders.
Yeah.
But he's sleek in the mask.
Yeah.
And he's very thin in the the waist. So, to me, in New 52, he's bulky. In Rebirth, he's just like stealth suit.
It's interesting because they went with, from what I remember of seeing, there was a thing that they did in Slade's origin story back in the Judas Contract. And they retold it in the New 52, which was actually this one was written by what's the guy I hate who created Deadpool?
Rob
Liefeld. He actually wrote and did all the art for the Deathstroke.
Wait, how? Oh, never mind.
He did for issue 0.
What are you referencing? What part of the origin?
Well, so the origin was that, so somebody breaks into their house, right, and it's just his wife, and she says this really cool line, and I noticed it because she said it in the Liefeld one and the original, where she kicks the shit out of the invader and says, "You were expecting a victim. That's not me." And I was like, "Oh shit, she's a badass," and I forgot.
So how far did you get in the episode?
I don't know. When was that? That was like right at the beginning, right?
Oh, you saw that in the episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if you were just literally being like, "I remember a cool thing from
the
books."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how far. I think that's about how far I got. And I just thought that was cool because that was always in his origin.
So they went with like a classic origin tale, but they made their own version of it. So there's been multiple takes where Jericho, even in Titans, in the newest iteration, where Jericho gets his throat slashed. In some capacity, Jericho gets his throat slashed. That's why he's a mute, which to me, I'm always like, what? But anyways, in this one, Hive is trying to recruit Slade, and they do exactly what you just said, come to his house. And his wife kicks their ass, blah, 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 blah. But they do... I was kind of digging it, how they did like a classic origin part, but made it their own, where they took him to the Hive headquarters and slashed his throat. And I'm like, very traditional. Very cool.
Yep.
Again, I'm not going to retell this whole episode. I almost did it there. But when I think of Slade Wilson, here's what I like about this show the most. And tell me if you get what I'm trying to get at here.
Right.
When I think of Slade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke, he's a mercenary, right? So I think of exotic locations. I think
Yes.
of money. I think of uber violence.
Right.
And I think of that double life that he leads where, depending on what you're reading or watching of Slade, he's either like a good dad and trying to be a good family guy,
Right.
or he doesn't give a shit and he's just like whatever, and he's just kind of a dick.
Yeah, that's what interested me about Titans, and you and me talked about that.
Yep.
They completely went the I want to be a good dad
Exactly.
route, and they did it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's the Slade I love, but
It's funny you said that because I'm trying to figure out which one I like
yeah,
best.
right. I can't tell because I don't think I hate it, right? But I also kind of like the Slade who's like, I want my kids to be tough. You know, I think that there's never been an iteration where he doesn't care about his kids. I
He
think
always cares about them,
right.
but
I
the
just
way
think
he
that
shows
there's a
it,
lot of storylines where he's just very like,
he's a dick.
yeah, he's a dick.
He's just an asshole. Like
he's
I think
that-
there's one where he goes out with Grant and Joe.
Right.
Hunt. Oh, it's in Rebirth.
Yeah.
And they go out hunting together, and they're like in the freaking Arctic. It seems like, and he's just like whatever. Like he's like, all right, you fucked up. Starve. But in this one, it looks like
Right.
they're going for that same thing, kind of like in Titans, where they're making him like I want to be
so
Father of the Year.
Right. Okay.
So
So that's what they're doing in this show. You're saying.
so far, yeah, because he's obviously trying to save Joe. Didn't really work out. Anyways, but what I was getting at with this show, they hit all those notes of Deathstroke that I like where he travels to just the ends of the earth for his contracts. I love that, where he's like in random places like Dubai or Mombasa, things like that, Africa. That one that you said you saw at the beginning, he's
Right.
actually like hired to topple a government.
Uh-huh.
And I always love that about Deathstroke, because it's like, hey, we're going to send you to infiltrate. If you watched far enough, he killed the guy that hired him because he said, no, I do it when the cause is just. So when he gave the guy the head and he said, just do better, I was like, that is so Slade Wilson. Like, he's just like, you know what? He hired me to kill you,
Right.
but nah.
That's kind of interesting, and I noticed that right at that first one, he hired me to, just like you said, he hired me to kill you, but I decided it was best for the. I feel like they've been lately working him into anti-hero.
He's anti-hero. Yeah,
and
he's
it's
anti-hero now.
to me, he's
I
not.
like him as anti-hero.
Really?
Mhm.
I like him as villain.
The best version of Slade, I think, was, he said something, I think it was in the New 52, and it was just so easy and so blunt. He said, I don't fly any flag. I go to whoever pays me.
Right.
Like, he's basically saying, I'm not loyal to anybody.
No, that's what I mean.
But like in this, he's basically saying, the only difference in the show is he's made it very clear, because he said it like twice.
Right.
He said, I do it if the cause is just.
Right. I don't
So
like
he's got
that.
a conscience.
I don't like him having a conscience. I like him going where the money takes. But to me,
I
that's
kinda dig
always
it.
that's always been Deathstroke. He goes where the money pays the highest.
Actually,
And,
now you're making me rethink it, because I'm like, you're right.
yeah,
That's what the allure is he's literally, he can be bought.
if he had a conscience, if he had a conscience, he'd be a good guy. He
Yeah.
would like do good things.
No.
But to me, like by the end of the current Deathstroke run that just ended on issue 50, he was likable. I wouldn't say he was a good guy or an anti-hero, but you were seeing a lot of his humanity, which is always appreciated. There's a difference. But when James Tynion just brought him into Batman in issue 66 and 67, he was straight bad guy again, and I was like, yes, that's what I want.
Yep. And I like seeing the dynamic of both sides of the mask, kind of like with Bruce Wayne and Batman.
For sure.
You get to, depending on which version of Slade Wilson you're looking at, he's either a family man or he's more like I wrote them off and I'm just strictly a mercenary.
Right.
In this one, you get to see both. Like, he wants to be a good dad. He wants to be the most deadly assassin in the universe. Right. I've always kind of dug seeing the dynamic. Trying to think what else. A couple things to hit on that were important. I mean, I don't want to go through the whole episode. I thought it was awesome. This is like a dream of mine to have an animated series about just Deathstroke.
So
you didn't watch the whole thing. Do you want me to cover some of the big things that happened in it?
No,
Or do
no,
you
no,
wanna-
because I want viewers to really go see it. We've only up till now we've only talked about the first couple minutes, and I want if you guys are
Yeah.
listening and you haven't watched it, it's free on CWC. Go check it out. It's
Yep.
only one episode. It's like 40 something minutes
Because
long.
the end is a big deal.
Yeah,
Especially
so-
if you know Deathstroke.
So definitely go check it out. I'm gonna go watch it tonight, and let us know what you guys think. We'll put up a post or something. I don't know. I get lazy and I never end up putting up posts.
So let me end it with my non-biased score. I went ahead and pulled it up. IMDb actually gave it an 8.1.
That's pretty good for IMDb.
I would give it I'd probably give it an 8.5. I think it's pretty fair. I think their rating is fair. I want to see where it goes.
Right.
But I think I'm trying not to be biased.
Right.
Because for me, I'm like, Deathstroke, 10 out of 10, no matter what it is. But I'd say 8.5.
Can't stop
8.
yawning.
It's pretty good score. So anyways, I'm looking forward to part 2. We don't have any info on a release date that I know of.
So me and Matt both scoured the internet because we were looking because he was getting ready for this episode, and we couldn't find a fucking release date for episode 2 anywhere. So if you guys can find a release date for when episode 2 of Deathstroke Knights and Dragons is coming out, please DM us on Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram, whatever, and let us know. You know,
See, I started wondering if Knights and Dragons was just the title of part 1.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because they tie that into the episode, by the way. When you watch it, Knights
Right.
and Dragons makes sense. You know why.
That's
the
interesting. I
title.
wonder if it's gonna be Deathstroke like mini series where it's
Different
each one
titles.
is kind of a different thing.
I kind of got that vibe, honestly.
That's interesting. So that'd be cool.
So yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to where it goes from here. Hopefully you guys check it out. I think if you're not even like a big fan of Deathstroke, I think you'll enjoy it. If you like DC animation, yeah, check it out.
Well, that's very cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you for that, for letting us know. And I'm definitely gonna check out Deathstroke. And then the only thing we really got to talk about left is comic stuff, right? We got comic stuff, and that's not gonna take long because it's just we're gonna talk about what came out last week that you guys should pick up while there may still be a copy on the shelf, and what to expect next week, just like I always do. You know, somebody
Your Harley Quinn statue box is very provocative.
Oh yeah. Well, the Harley Quinn statue's provocative, but she's there with Mr. J, and they're just a fucking power couple, is what they are. I collect statues, guys. I
Mila
love DC
Kunis and
statues.
Ashton Kutcher up in the house.
What's funny is I don't have like many Marvel statues at all. I have like little ones that came in loot boxes, and then I have my other table is all anime stuff. So, and Pops.
Hey, are you watching The Ranch?
I haven't watched it. I mean, I've watched all of it up until the new part, so I haven't.
I didn't know if you started the new.
Cowboys ain't easy to love. Yeah, I really.
Mama, don't let your baby. Yeah, I'm like 6 episodes in.
I really, really love The Ranch. It's a
I do too.
it's a good show.
Sad. I'm gonna be sad to see it go.
I was talking to somebody and they were like, what do you guys do for your episodes? Like how long does it take you to edit it? And I was like, I'll tell you a secret, Sport. I don't edit anything in these episodes.
Sport.
We've got I call people Sport, Champ, and Tiger a lot.
Don't you call me boss anymore? All right, Chief.
So they were asking like what do you do? And so they were kind of praising it. They were not to like toot our own horn or anything, but they were like your podcast sounds so good, and it's how long does it take you to edit it? And I'm like, well, we don't edit it.
We just go for it.
We just kind of go for it, and we ramble on.
Our editing is at the beginning.
Yeah,
we can't start on the first try.
We usually do like a second or third take because we start these shows so terribly still.
Yeah,
but,
I think they're pretty good.
Like we don't edit out Brett's. I'm part of this podcast like page on Facebook, like a group, and it's really toxic and really awful, and I love it because it's just so entertaining.
And you're just toxic and
no, I can't like, and I know that this is gonna sound like whatever, but I can't be that guy on the internet flaming people. I can't get into it. I just feel like it's gonna come back to me someday. Like I don't want to be that guy being toxic and shitty. I think awful thoughts about these people because they ask the dumbest questions. And look, guys, anything you do is worth doing right? So anything you do, I don't have anything against people asking questions and trying to get more information and better, but like some people ask questions about podcasting that is just the dumbest shit I've ever heard, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't like we use. I'll tell you guys our secret right now. We use Yeti mics, USB mics. We sit in my room and record. We close the door, make sure that it's not too echoey, right? We don't edit because I'm not going to spend an hour editing out breaths. I'm fat, all right? I'm not going to edit out every fat guy breath that I have.
What?
I sniffle. We just kind of go for it. We have fun, and a lot of you guys seem to like it, and I appreciate that. But people are always asking these questions on this group that are like, does a podcast have to have music in it? I'm like, do you want it to have music? And they're like, how long is too long for a podcast intro? I'm like, that's again super up to you there,
See,
Chief.
I'm kind of torn here because I've been that guy in so many situations,
And
I get what you're saying
that's the
too.
thing. I don't want to seem like I'm just like I don't want to seem like I'm being a dick, but at the end of the day,
There's certain things. Let me just interrupt you.
You're
real quick.
overthinking, right?
Let me interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
I get so mad when people ask me a question that they could have Googled. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
That's kind of the same thing. I'm like, bro.
But I also
like just do your research.
I also kind of get annoyed when it's like you're asking a question that's 130 billion% based in opinion. Like, just go with what you feel, man. You know
Follow
how many,
your heart. That's my motto.
You know
Follow
how
your
many
heart.
people I asked about this show before I started doing it? Fucking nobody. And not because I think I'm because I think I'm better. I don't think that this show is better than anyone's. We're the worst podcast ever created. But what I think,
that's not true at all.
No, it's not true. But what I do think is that if I spent all my time trying to fit it into this mold of what other people are doing, it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be you, and it wouldn't be me, right? So this show that we do is off the cuff. We do write notes and stuff. I have stuff ready. Matt has stuff ready every time we do this show, but it's very off the cuff, and it's not produced. It's not overly produced.
You and I used to joke that our strengths were a little different because you write notes and then
I'm a big note writer.
You kind of, I wouldn't say you read them word for word. I say you use them as reference.
No, yeah, I bullet point.
And for me, I literally just go with it. Like I never was a note taker until I met you and I started actually doing notes.
Well,
and this helps.
There are some things that, like the Star Wars incident last episode, we have to write notes. But some things you need to write notes on and do. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because it was just kind of funny to me how, and I wish nothing but the best for those kinds of people. You know, like I wish nothing but the best for anyone starting any creative project. But I think my word of advice is stop overthinking everything and just kind of go with what feels authentic to yourself.
One thing I'll add to what you just said, though, is there's been so many times in my life where there's people I admire and I ask them a question and I feel like the smallest person in the whole world. And I don't ever want to be that guy.
What do you mean?
Like, let's use your example. Like, let's say we actually had fans of our show, right?
Right. Let's say anybody
and
listened.
they ask those same questions.
Right.
And then my response is, I don't know, man. Just do what you feel is right. Like, and then all they take away from it is, wow, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be that guy. Like, that's just kind of like my thing. Like, because I've been on the other side of that so many times. Yeah. I'm a musician, all that stuff, and
it's
some of my
difficult,
idols,
right? Because you get up in your head, absolutely.
And people that are like professionals, and you're just like, I just wanted a glimpse into your world,
right.
And then they're just like, and you don't know what they're going through at the same time.
I'm not talking about I'm not saying it's wrong to ask questions, and it's not wrong to ask for help. But there's something I think really it's again, you're overthinking things, and these questions are, before you ask a question, whether it's a group on Facebook or an idol or somebody you respect, just ask yourself, is this a question that really needs to be asked, or am I just asking a question to say something?
Well, that's true. And then also some of these questions you don't need to ask because you need to find your identity.
Right.
You don't want to be somebody else's identity.
Like, I could sit and talk about comics and podcasting and that shit for hours, and I'll never have a problem with somebody asking questions. I'm not an asshole. I'm really not. I have a problem with somebody asking 30,000 inconsequential questions that are not, first of all, not even going to improve your show because they're the dumbest shit in the... If you want a 30-second intro, man, if it's entertaining and it's good for you, make it happen.
I was going to say, if you like it, go for it.
How long is our intro? It's like 10 seconds, right?
Well, one.
Once we do the new one, it's going to be even shorter.
The new one that I've had almost completed.
The one that we haven't. But the point is that there really is no right or wrong answer for a lot of these things, and it's all down to what do you want it to be.
Yeah, the older I get, it's more about, and people say it throughout your whole life, but I start to see it now. The older I get, is like, just do what makes you
Yeah.
happy. I know that sounds cliche, but like
No,
do
but
what
it's
you
100%
like.
true. It's not about
You don't need justification. Just do it. If you
got
want to be vulgar, if you want to be
right.
offensive, if you want to be quiet, if you want to be short, if you want to be long, whatever. Do what you
You got to
think's
think
right.
of how many people are out there that share. We all want to pretend like we're one in a million, which we know is not true. Like we're copies of billions of other people.
Everybody
But
is
yeah,
literally influenced by somebody else.
there. Think of how many people are out there that probably share your sense of humor, who share your taste in music, you share your sense of style. If you just make something, whether it's a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever, and it's authentic to you, the other people who are like-minded are going to flock to you. And on the adverse side of that, the people who are assholes and haters are also going to flock to you because they're going to want to tell you why you're wrong. And that's fun because then you get to be like, well, I'm just doing me.
Well, then there's always the gray area where you threw out a point that somebody didn't think about.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, shit.
And that's my
That's a good
favorite
point.
And we've talked about that.
And that's happened to me a lot.
That's called open-mindedness,
Yes.
and that's my favorite thing in the world.
Me
I
too.
love when I'm arguing. It happened at work the other day. I was arguing about some stupid comment. It was a nerdy discussion. We were talking about Star Wars. We were talking about me and my brother actually were talking about Emperor Palpatine and how I said the stories are all about him, and we were going through this thing, and he said, well, actually, and he starts delving into it, and I was out nerded by my brother, and I was like, oh shit, you're right. And I had such a hard opinion on this dude, but I 100% was like, you know what? You have opened my third eye. Like, that's amazing. Because
You have just opened up Pandora's box.
right, but it's open-mindedness, right? And that's amazing.
That's
So
how you learn. as a
yeah, keep
person.
an open mind. Be open to changing. But before we go, let's go through the comics real quick and see what's popping in the world
Wow, did
of.
we just get like serious and emo there for like 10 minutes?
Yeah,
What
I
the
did.
hell was that?
We like to have real talk, but let's see what's popping in the world of panels real quick. This past week at least, that was the 22nd. Wednesday the 22nd, Batman number 87 came out with James Tynion continuing his run. Detective Comics 1019, which I'm pretty sure is still you know what? I don't remember who's writing that because I think they're changing art
Are you
writers
sure
and shit.
it's not Tinian?
Tynion? It's
Tynion.
Tynion.
Okay.
Tynion.
I love that guy.
Wonder Woman 750 came out. Now that's a big deal because they had a bunch of variant covers. So this is legacy wise, this is the 750th issue of Wonder Woman that has ever come out. So there's two things that happen with that that's kind of important. Flash is about to follow suit next month, I think, with its 750th issue. It is it had like 10 variants, I think, because they did just like Detective Comics 1000, they did a through the years variant, which I always appreciate the decades variants because you get to see a lot of really cool interpretations from different periods of time. George Perez and Jim Lee both had their covers that they got to do, which was really neat. And then a lot of other really impressive artwork and stuff. The 60s one was cool because it showcased that era of the 60s where she was always in like a go-go dress and like the boots. It was so weird. It was the weirdest time for Wonder Woman, but yeah, 750. And so the other thing that happened with that is they are now continuing from what I understand. Now don't quote me on this, but DC is now going to be continuing legacy numbers. So we're going to continue with Wonder Woman 751 instead of going back to Wonder Woman 50 something or 80 something or whatever. You know, they're going to continue legacy numbers, and then Flash is going to follow suit, and I guess eventually they're going to do that with all of them. Batman Curse of the White Knight number 6 came out. Shazam number 10, Web of Venom The Good Son, which is apparently, I didn't get to read it yet, apparently one of the most shocking Web of Venoms that has come out so far. Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Al Ewing just started his run, which is weird because Donny Cates just started a run like a couple months ago, and I guess that's over already. I didn't realize it was going to be like a mini or a maxi series, but they could, you know, whatever. And Amazing Spider-Man 38. Next week, we got some really cool shit. So next week, Wednesday, January 29th of 2020, the year of our Lord, Detective Comics Annual number 3 is coming out. Action Comics 1019. Justice League number 39. Why is that important? Justice League number 39 is the last Scott Snyder written Justice League. And then it's moving on to a new writer. I don't remember who's replacing him, but I guess I'm going to be sad to see him go. It's been a really fun run with Scott Snyder, and I love it. Something is Killing the Children, number 5. We've been talking about that. That's a James Tynion. Now you got me fucking it up when I'm trying to say James Tynion book. Suicide Squad, number 2, written by Tom Taylor. Hawkeye Freefall, number 2. Deadpool, The End. So, Matt, let me tell you about The End, because they're doing Deadpool and they're doing a bunch of heroes, but next week is Deadpool and Doctor Strange. And so they're putting out this series. They're all one-shots, but they're going across, like, several heroes, like Captain Marvel and I think Iron Man and a bunch of heroes. Miles Morales and stuff, and Venom. And it's kind of these one-shots where it's like, if this character's life was... I don't know if it's life or story, but if this was the last story this character was ever involved with, however it ends, either they die or they just end their story, this is it. So they're putting out these one-shots, and it's kind of interesting because it's like, okay, the end, that's the end of their story. And I think that's a little interesting because you gotta read it with, all right, well, is this going to be canon? Is this what everything they do is building towards, or is this something who fucking cares about? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's got a little, what's the word I'm trying to use? There's, like when you bet,
over under? What are you talking about?
No, I'm just trying to say there's like significance, like there's weight to it.
Sure.
Like if it's supposed to be the end, like you're like what you're reading
well,
is like.
It's like The Dark Knight Returns. A lot of us nerds still see that as whatever happens with Batman.
That's
end. What we're working towards. Now most people I think now look at that like it's a different universe, it's its own thing, but a lot of us kind of look at that like that's what Batman's working towards, and he'll eventually be that Batman. Which I just think is interesting. So, I don't know what to think about that. I will say Jessica Jones Blind Spot number 2 comes out next week. I read number 1. Man, awesome. This is the first time I'm ever excited, like hella excited about a Jessica Jones book.
Did you say hella?
Hella. And I seriously,
that's lit, dude.
That's lit, fam. That's totally lit in the Bay, fam. 100.
Keep going. Start over.
Start over. I love that. Oh, hey, idiot. Hey, start over.
Excuse me, sir.
And then Ravencroft number 1 comes out. Ravencroft is going to be cool, maybe because it's supposed to be their answer to like Arkham Asylum. We all know what Ravencroft is. It is the Arkham Asylum of the Marvel world. Not nearly as cool, but this book might be, so who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, I bequeath you guys to go and check out these books.
Much to my chagrin.
You
said bequeath.
I said that in front of my father once, and he goes, "Oh, look at you with your fucking fancy words."
Oh, look at you. What'd you read, a dictionary?
Yeah. Look at you.
Oh, my God, chagrin.
Because you read fucking books.
Wow. Let's have some pasta.
You know what's funny is
Italian.
because my dad's Italian as fuck. I've been saying that phrase to my chagrin for a long time. Just found out it's spelt with a CH. And I just feel it's...
What did you think it was
spelled? I thought it was an S. I thought it was SHE.
Oh, so you're an idiot.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Chagrin.
But yeah, so guys, that's just go. I like to highlight those comics. So go check out those comics next week at your local comic book shop. If you're in the Jacksonville area, please come check out Mythical Mountain on San Jose Boulevard. We are the best shop in Jacksonville, Florida, without a doubt. We also have a St. Augustine location right on
Are y'all
St.
a pop
George
shop?
Street.
Funko Pop Shop?
We are not a pop shop. However, we do have just a shitload of Funko Pops.
He got so freaking mad.
I did get kind of mad
because like a 5-year-old said.
No, it was not. He was like 10, but he ran into the store and he goes, "Mom, I found a pop shop." And I was like, "No, the fuck you didn't, kid.
Jesus.
We are a comics and collectibles store. Respect it, But
Good
no,
God, don't kill the wonder. And
no,
excitement.
of course I'm never mean to kids. I love.
As I'm staring at your damn pop wall.
I know I have a pop wall. I do love the young clientele. They come in and they get so excited. It's always fun to see anybody who. It's weird because you see it in kids and then you see it in adults. But people walk into our store and they just eyes go wide, and we are a big store, so they see us. And they walk in and they're like, "I didn't know you were here." And their eyes go wide like they just walked into Disney World. It really is like the coolest thing in the world. And I see it every day.
Hey, the first time I went into the San Jose store, it caught me off guard. Because I was
like,
"Oh, so it's just this one room right here in the front."
No, yeah.
And you guys were like, "No."
Yeah,
you can
walk
go
around
all
back.
the way around.
Yeah,
like,
it's
wow.
It's really neat. And I do love that. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Once again, I know I thank you guys all the time, so maybe thank us for once. But the
You know what? We're doing a service for you.
You know what? You're welcome. No, please go check us out. The Instagram is up, by the way, at Bat Hat Pod. Is that what I?
Yeah, it's fun to say.
Is that what I named it? Bat Hat Pod at Bat Hat Pod, of course. Check us out on Twitter at Bat Hat Official. Check out the Facebook.com/the Bat in the Hat.
They're all different.
Yeah, they're all different. And just hit us up on social media. Make sure that you go and subscribe to the Bat in the Hat podcast on YouTube, so that when our first video drops, you are ready for that. And
I haven't had any luck on Bumble or Hinge lately, so if there's any 4 to 7s out there that are looking for love.
4 to 7, what a range you spread out there.
3 to 7?
A 4 to 7. I like to shoot for the 3 to 5 area. That's my comfort
If anybody's out there looking for love,
oh fuck! All right.
All right.
Thank you guys again, Matt. You got anything else for the people?
Nope. Thanks for tuning in.
Very
Godspeed. Cool. God bless America. Have a good day.
Yeah, none of that. But good night, Matt's mom.